Alrighty then, it's time for a very brutal jungle Trundle game. I actually feel bad for it. Which one? And it's not because of something that happens to me, well, you'll see it right now. Which two? Anyways, attack damage red, attack damage quints, army yellow, magic resistance blues, 12, 18, 0 masteries. And by the way, at the beginning of every video, I say voice check 1 and voice check 2. Just gotta say that again for the people who don't understand it. And I do that to sync up the audio and video together, and I know I can edit them out, but fans like it, so I leave it. Anyways, my teammates give me a better leash than I expected. I was going to smite it, but they just kind of stick around, so I don't feel like wasting the smite. I use it for blue buff instead, and this speeds me up enough for me to feel like I could invade Tom, since he's very fucking slow and unsustained. I catch him at his red, and he's almost dead, and I managed to steal the red buff at 1 health. Also, fortunately, look at mid lane. The Brad, he should notice that his Tom just got invaded, but he doesn't do dick. I mean, he couldn't help it, but he should at least played safely because I'm behind him now. And I basically beat him to death. I give the kill to Karthus, and he gets the first blood. And thankfully, this is a massive gain for my team, as it now makes sure that mid lane is not going to be able to help anybody, or at least he's going to be very behind, and Karthus will be able to continue kicking his ass. I know Tom is still super slow, and since it's only level 2, I decide to invade him again. He's not at his red, he's not going to be at his blue buff, so I figure he's at his Gromp. And I catch him there. And I know he's got no flash, so this makes it a very tantalizing kill. I catch him, and pretty much just start beating him to death while Gromp helps me, because Gromp is a goddamn dick. And I kill him. Again, level 2 Tom. He's so far behind. And I try to steal his blue, but unknowingly to me, the enemy Brand shows up. I decide to fight him because I get a little cocky here, and the blue and Brand beat my ass up. Fortunately for me, the Jace has some map awareness, so he shows up and gets himself an easy kill. Boo. And also manages to take the blue buff as well, pretty much burying Tom's early game completely. It's pretty bad. I mean, Tom is one of those junglers who can still fall back and being supporty, but that's not something the enemy team needs. They need some early game reassurance because Brand is easy to kill, and Rise is also very easy to kill. Rise is quite late game. By the way, this gank doesn't result in a kill, but it's actually an insanely beneficial one. Because I was there to have presence, Brand wasn't able to counterattack against the Karthus. So Karthus was able to deal a shitload of damage for free. And that forced Brand to go home and basically lose more experience and gold. That's actually one of the best results that can happen in a gank, where not a lot of resources are spent, but you still result in something positive with nothing being done against you. By the way, I catch Tom again. I really can't do anything because he slows me and everything, but he does burn his smite, and considering how far behind he is, that's kind of a big deal. Anyways, I catch Brand again, and this time he knows he's going to die, so he just tries to fight back, but of course he doesn't have the damage to kill me or Karthus, especially with barrier, and we get ourselves another kill. Now at this point, the enemy Brand is raging in all chat and just yelling at his teammate and saying that I'm ganking for my dual laner, which is obviously not true. So the next few things that's going to happen is going to be quite embarrassing. Or at least for the enemy team. I feel bad for the Tom that he's kind of stuck with this. He picked Tom first, and I didn't have an idea that it was going to be Jungle Tom. I picked Trundle, and Trundle just bullies weaker ass junglers, so I kind of feel bad for him. Either way, Brand shows up bottom lane for whatever reason right now. You'll see it. He shows up bottom lane, and Tom ends up having to go mid lane, I guess, for extra experience. So this makes it so I can steal red without any fear of being killed. I was just chilling around to see where the hell Brand and Tom was. They showed up, and I was able to secure it and go on my merry way. I catch the Tom, just desperately trying to farm up some gold, and beat him to death, or kneel to death. He ends up stunning me before I kill him, but thankfully I have a Karthus in the team and he's able to secure the kill. And Brand is still bottom lane for whatever goddamn reason. And it results in him dying, Ezreal dying, and then I think the enemy Morgana dies too. So the enemy just gets dealt a huge catastrophic blow, and I don't know what the fuck the Brand was thinking. This makes it again so I can steal the blue buff rather easily because there's no mid presence to help out the enemy jungler. Okay. So, how do you deal with invasions this strong? Actually, I gotta mention this. Don't ever do this versus a Trundle. Don't ever go between the spaces of a tower, because that's the easiest place he can just force you, pin you down or whatever. Anyways, how do you recover from invasions? This is a question commonly asked to me by players. They pick a weak jungler and they get countered, or they don't know the matchups too well and they get countered anyways. They get invaded by Udyrs, Trundles, or whatever. The thing is, to recover from the jungle after being invaded, it's you and the mid laner's job to recover you. The top laner and the bottom laners can't really help you all too much. By the way, Karthus kills me by accident here by becoming a catalyst for the bounces. Kind of makes me sad. Either way, as a jungler, you gotta take as much farm as you can. If mid is open, if any lane is open, you go there and take it. Just abandon your jungle because you might be killed unless you have wards to protect you. Go for the small camps over the big ones because those you can easily kill and just take rather easily. When it comes to being invaded, you need your mid laners help the most. They're the ones most capable of showing up quickly and dealing the most damage before anything bad happens. Like my favorite mid lane bodyguards or helpers when I get invaded are like Twisted Fate or Rise. Those are very helpful because they have CC. It's very instantaneous, very spammable, and they're at a good range. So those are the types of champions you can get help from. Again, basically, if you get invaded and no one helps you, don't feel all too bad. I mean, of course, you should read signs you're about to be invaded. You should be cautious and going for the small camps and having wards, but it's not your fault if you get invaded as bad as this Tom. Brand abandoning mid lane pretty much made it so me and everyone else could invade his jungle without any fear. Brand going bottom lane cost him his red buff and his blue buff. Again, because I didn't have any fear of Brand showing up. He could easily kill me even though I'm pretty big because I'm going damage. Either way, as you can see now, the jungle domination is continuing. I've controlled all of the enemy blue side. They really can't cross here without being killed, and they do anyways. I catch Bran and just sort of start beating him to death. He stuns me, but of course at this point doesn't do any damage and doesn't even mana, so it makes an easy pickings. Rise and Tom show up, but there's nothing they can do about this or garner any kills. So basically, top lane and their blue side jungle are pretty much under our control, and they can't use it to farm because we're going to tower dive them, and they can't use it to secure Gromp or Wolves because we'll just find them and kill them. We're just too damn powerful at this point. So, actually, look, I barely managed to save Jace. I feel pretty bad for the enemy jungler. No one in his team fucking helped him. I mean, yeah, Rise can't really help. I think he tried at one point, but bottom lane, he was too far to get their help. And I think this was just him being inexperienced at dealing with the enemy, with being invaded this brutally. Again, he probably didn't expect it, so that's probably why he was chancing himself at the red buff. But the Brand really fucked him over, and then those games happen quite a bit even to me in the higher divisions. It's just the mid laner is too concerned with farming or anything to really help me out. But still, though, in ranked you really can't show mercy, so you continue to bury your opponent despite whatever. And like I said, if you get invaded, don't feel too bad. It's not always your fault. Your teammates do have to help you. It's sort of like the jungler who has to help his laners after they get buried in their lanes. It's just, you have to reset it. You need your teammates' help just as much as they need your help when bad shit happens to their lanes, right? So, a little bit of give and take. It's just a lot of people abandon the jungle because they figure they need to be self-sufficient or survive on their own or whatever. As you can see, this game is pretty much snowballed in our favor. There's absolutely nothing they can do. All the kill spread in my team is very beautiful. You can see it's in the right champions. Blitzcrank has only 1 kill, and that's a very good sign. And the enemy team is pretty much going to surrender soon enough. They're getting caught off guard in every single instance, and the Brand is raging in all chats. So we just figure the enemy team is morale is sunk to the worst depths of hell. Either way, here is right now where they surrender, and I hope this displayed some ridiculous brutality in invasion and how to punish at least a very weaker jungler than you. So hooray for Trundle and horrible brutality.